All right, so we're here first day on site, and the first thing that we have to do is mark out our footing location. But first, let's get into the design. This project is gonna be insane. We have almost 800 square feet of deck space, a 20 by 20 roof structure and pergola off to the side. Underneath that roof, we have a lounge area with TV above a fireplace. To the left, we have an outdoor kitchen, which is highlighted by those 2 hanging chairs. And we were able to squeeze some extra functionality out of the space by doing a bar top in front of that bump out. When it comes to our footing locations, we have 16 helical piles. All we do is reference these plans, take measurements, spray them out, so let's get into that. Then we'll get our string line, got a brand new one, brand new. We'll try to keep this one for a little longer than usual, not get it all tangled up. We'll see how that works. Are you stepping on that good?
Yep.
Okay. That's one footing. So our beam that's at the edge of this little walkway bar area is actually going to continue through our main deck and be our mid-span beam at that point. So we're just going to continue this line straight across. So it'll make it a lot easier to install our beams. It's our perimeter beam here. It's our mid-span beam over on this main area. Okay. We got to cut a little bit of these stairs away. I think we can do it, so the stairs will still be functional because we won't be framing for another couple of days. We got the play set over there. We want to keep these intact if we can, so we'll try to be careful. All I have is a metal blade. We've run out of wood blades. I think it'll cut through wood. It's actually not a metal blade, it's automotive dismantling. And cars used to be made out of wood back in the day, so we'll see. So we'll just start cutting through it. Oh, that's nice. Use some nice trim nails to put this graspable handrail on. Gotta love that. Builders these days, am I right? Actually worked pretty good. Isn't it funny that the point of this is really for like elderly people that need something to grasp onto? And this is what's holding it in. Gotta love it. Oh, what's this joint held together with? Oh, who would have guessed? Yep, trim nails.
Unbelievable.
You know what, John?
Am I doing a good job?
You did a good job.
Thank you. There she is. Last footing. Last footing. Marked out, ready to go. GoliathTech is here, ready to install our helical piles, and what they do, we send it to their engineer. They spec out which size piles for each load. Architect supplies the load on each footing. Their engineer specifies which pile goes in there. So we have 3 larger piles, and they're gonna go along this line because we're gonna have our deck extending off of there. That's gonna basically act as a ledger for the outdoor kitchen area. And we have 1 point load on this outside corner that is a little bit larger. So we are gonna have a large pile here. The rest of them all be the same size. And like usual, should get these in pretty quick. We'll be ready to frame. All right, we got all of our footings in. You saw that installation. Now we're ready to frame. We don't have to wait for anything. No inspection. There is an engineering report that gets submitted to the township, but we'll have that in a little bit. We're ready to start framing. Let's show you what we got.
Is that a problem?
A what?
A solution we haven't found yet?
It's a solution we haven't found yet, yeah. So this is like right on the edge of where the deck's gonna go. So what I think, we'll go a little bit beyond it. Our joists are gonna run this way here, so this will be in between a joist bay. Shouldn't really get in the way. Operation should be fine, so don't think we'll really have a problem. We'll just adjust our measurement by about 2 inches. Ledger's going up. We just temporarily put it in place with framing nails. We'll go back with some ledger locks, make sure that this thing's really locked in for justice.
As soon as this one's good, you and Jose can start filling that in.
Yeah.
Up a little bit. We gotta come up with it.
Yep.
Up. Like a lot. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there.
So we find sometimes it's easier to do a laser and figure out our measurement at each footing and then cut 6x, but in this case, we figured it would be a little bit faster, a little bit easier to just run our joist. We've got it attached to the house, threw a level on it, put a temporary brace here, so this is now level. Run a string line, measure down, figure out the height of our 6x, be good to go, set our beam.
I don't know if this one's gonna.
Are we gonna be able to get away with like that normal way we do these 6x?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with the scab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 1/4.
You saw how we just ran that string line underneath of our joist so that we can measure down to each helical pile. We got 26 inches, so we need to subtract the height of the beam, 9 3/8. That's gonna be the height of our 6x. We can put that in there, build our beam. Should go right underneath of our joist. Tom, why don't you get over here with your strong muscles?
Yeah, maybe.
Just try to push this down a tiny bit. You been
Down?
working out or what?
I mean, pushing down, you can't really do much.
Yeah, with that attitude. See, the most important thing for any task, can do attitude. Remember that. Okay, Tom? We got our ledgers up. Now, as soon as we set these beams, we'll start throwing joists up. Should go pretty quick. It's a little hot. Do I look sweaty?
No, your shirt's black, so it's all just the
Oh,
same
really?
color, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Your shorts are a different story, but
Don't get
the
any
shirt-
shots on my rear. So I pre-cut all of our joists for this small walkway section, needed 16 of them. So I have all those cut and piled up now. I'm just measuring them according to their height because a 2x10 is gonna vary usually between 9 1/4 and 9 1/2. So I'm checking each one, separating it into 4 piles. We've got 9 1/4, 9 3/8, 9 3/8 plus, and 9 1/2. So we'll just install them in order. So we have a nice flat surface. And we don't want to go 9 1/4, 9 1/2, 9 1/4. You'll see that hump. So it takes a little bit of time, but definitely worth it. We got most of this deck framed up. The 2 main sections. I kind of kept forgetting that we have this offshoot coming off the side. Our triple joist on the end is really acting as a ledger for this other deck. So we're gonna have some joist hangers on here. Man, this thing's getting big.
This is a long deck.
Oh yeah. What is it, 56 feet long?
What have we got?
21, 20, and 15.
21, 20, and 15.
56.
Yeah, 56.
You can see again what we did here to figure out our beam and our post height. We just set our 2 end joists, made sure that they're level, put this temporary brace on it, and then we can measure down from there. So let's see how it works out. nice fit. ProWood, baby. One thing that you'll want to make sure of is you're getting the right lumber. So you want to make sure any of your structural stuff is all rated for ground contact. It's off the ground, so you might think you don't need ground contact, but any structural members, make sure you're looking for this tag, ground contact. This is a lot bigger than the normal beam that we use, so we went ahead and rented a genie lift. Get these up in no time? What do you say? Unless you want to just do it by yourself. Strength of a lion, heart of a baby. All right. Genie time. All right, so we got the beam up here, and we rented this genie lift to assist us with getting this thing up in the air because it's about 400 pounds, and you can see it's freaking huge. It's pretty ridiculous. So we're gonna get it up on these forks, hand crank it up, and hopefully it should be pretty easy. This is a big one. Yeesh.
It's rubbing against this.
Whew. I don't know why I'm sounding like I'm tired, because I ain't really doing anything. Just kind of watch.
So strong.
Being very helpful. I'm here if anybody needs it. More of a, it's a 3-person operation with this beautiful piece of machinery. I'm glad we rented it. $90 for a whole day. Not bad.
Yeah, I got room.
I gotta be in charge of safety here. If I'm in charge of anything, gotta make sure all my troops make it back home tonight. And the materials. And this rental machine. It was like a little tilted. I wasn't super comfortable with that. But hey, we got it up. And
Nobody's tired.
nobody's tired. I'm a little tired. Me? I seem tired? Yeah. I'm not tired. I've been up since 4:45. Good rental choice here. Glad we got that. Do you think we would have been able to get it up without it?
Yeah.
I believe him, but I would have been very nervous. But man, this thing worked like a dream. Like a genie. Oh yeah, I think you're supposed to put those stabilizer arms down. So we got our beams up yesterday, and now we're getting ready to frame out our roof and get rafters up in the air. So what we had to do was put this triple 2x8 across our front span. Instead of doing a concealed hanger here, we're gonna be building out our posts anyway. So basically just did a jack stud on each end. Got our triple beam up there. Now, this 2x roughly in the middle of the deck. This is just gonna be a temporary support because we're gonna be building our gable pin over top of this, putting our ridge rafter in, and then we'll start setting rafters. So there is gonna be a fireplace here. We're still figuring out the exact layout of that. So for now, just putting in this temporary support so we can get this thing up in the air. Not gonna have any bowing of this big beam. We get a lot of questions on this connection from our framing to our 6x6 posts. So we have this tripled end joist, and that is essentially acting as a beam to carry the load of this post down to our deck beam, down to our footing. So we have our strap gun here. We just have a 6x6 post base connector, and we have lagged that down to the deck with some 4-inch GRK screws. And now we just use our little strap shot. Boom, boom. So that's gonna tie everything together. On the top side of this post to our beam, we're gonna have a huge strap that ties them both together. Because it's a 16-inch beam, we want a really good connection between post and our LVL. You can see how the nail head of this sticks out from the gun. A little bit different than a traditional nail gun. That's so you can line up your nail with the hole in the connector. Makes it super easy. Boom. And we typically set these temporarily with a screw. Take that screw out. Boom! Ridge rafters up in the air, supported by that pin on the outside. Now we start setting some rafters. I'm gonna be on the ground, handing them up to the guys. We've got Ant handling the ridge. We've got Tom on this side, Jose over there. Let's get it done. All right, I'm gonna show you real quick how we figured out these rafters, how we find our angles, and how we mark this out so that they all go up and everything works out beautifully. First thing that we need to do is mark out our ridge cut on this. We're using a 2x8 rafter, and we're doing a 4-pitch roof. So we just have our speed square. Check this out. First thing that we need to do is mark out our ridge cut. So this is a 4-pitch roof. And the one part that can be a little bit confusing with this, you have your hip and valley marks here, and then you have your common rafter marks here. So they're a little bit different. This is a common rafter, and we're doing a 4-pitch. So we just pivot our speed square so that our 4 mark is lined right up with the edge of our lumber. You can hold that. Now we've got our ridge cut marked out. I'll cut this, then I'll show you how we figure out the rest of our rafter and our bird's mouth cut. What we need to do to figure out our overall rafter length is take our overall measurement from outside of beam to outside of beam. We have 233.5. That's our overall run. We need to divide that in half because it's going to be an A-frame roof, and then we need to subtract the thickness of our ridge itself. So if I divide this by 2, 233.5, that equals 116 3/4, and then I need to subtract half the thickness of the ridge. So that gives us 116 for our run. Now you can put this into any type of online roof pitch calculator or a construction calculator app. All you're gonna need to do is put in 116 as your run, and then you'll put in your pitch. In our case, that's a 4. So what that spit out for us was 122.25 is my rafter length. So I have my cut at the ridge. We've got 122.25. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Put my speed square right on this mark, pivot out to a 4. So that right there, that's the outside of our wall. We need to cut a bird's mouth in this. So what we're gonna do gonna measure up 1.5 inches. Flip your speed square around. A good thing to remember about roofs and most carpentry in general, everything's based off of 90 degrees. So once I have this angle, my back cut is gonna be 90 degrees off of that. So I'm gonna line up my speed square with our 4-pitch and then just mark the back side of it. Boom, there is our bird's mouth. So that's our rafter cut. This is gonna be the outside of the wall. And what I need to do now is just determine our soffit overhang length. We're gonna do 12 inches. So you're gonna want a framing square for this portion. Framing, we got our L-shaped piece of metal with numbers on it. We have our metal L tape measure. So for this portion, I'm gonna use the framing square so I can get this full measurement. We're gonna line it up with our 4-pitch, mark out 12 inches. That's our soffit overhang. Make a mark there. We'll flip it around again, line it up with that mark. Time for a new framing square. This thing's a little crazy. Line that up with our bottom mark, finish that line. Boom, there is our rafter. This line, not gonna cut that. We're gonna cut out our bird's mouth. We're gonna cut this, cut that. So once we have this cut out and this is lifted up at a 4-pitch, our mark here is gonna be plumb with the ground.
Check it out.
Remember last time I cut them a little bit too tight and a little bit too shallow? Ant wasn't happy. Make sure to go a little bit deeper this time. He knows what I'm talking about.
Good cut right.
Got all the roof rafters up. Now me and Jose are gonna start working on putting in the collar ties. We've got one of them installed already, and what this is gonna do, this is gonna tie the two sides of the roof together, and it's gonna keep the ridge from sagging down and the walls from moving out. So we're gonna do these every 16 inches on center. There will also be ceiling joists going in here, so this thing's really gonna be locked in for justice. Okay, so it was just wait. Maybe we'll just wait a couple minutes. I don't want to distract Tommy. This is like his 8th cut. It's the last one before the hammer gets thrown. So I'm going to show you here how to figure out some of the angles associated with this roof. We have a 4-pitch on our rafters, but our collar ties need to be on the back cut of that 4-pitch. So you can figure it all out with a speed square. So let me show you. So I'm going to set up this speed square on a 4-pitch. Line that 4 on our common rafter line up with the corner of our lumber, and you'll see if I continue that line, that leaves us at 18 degrees for a 4-pitch. Now our collar ties need to be the opposite of that cut. They need to be the back cut of a 4. So everything in carpentry is usually based around 90 degrees, and this is no exception. So we're gonna take 90 minus the 18 degrees of the 4-pitch, and we get 72 degrees. That is the back cut of our 4-pitch, and that's what we need to put on these collar ties before we get them installed. So there you go. We have our 4-pitch, which is 18 degrees, and then we have the back cut of a 4, which is 72 degrees. Everything's based off that 90 degrees. So this way, you'll see when we get our collar ties up there, this back cut is going to trace the elevation of the roof. So recut it.
I mean, I don't know. Make it 34.
Okay. I don't know, my brain maybe a little no work good today. I was adding wrong. There's 223.5 and then plus 10.5, and then that equals 234. I went 232. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
234. Okay. Everybody loves a comeback story. I already cut my second one though. We're using 5/8 inch sheathing on our roof here. A lot of times you'll see OSB being used as sheathing. We prefer to use plywood. It's a little bit stronger, even though it's not completely necessary.
63 3/4.
Yep.
Ripped at 41.
Yep. You'll see here Tom is handing up the plywood to Anthony, and he has pre-marked it on 16-inch centers so that as he's nailing it, he can line up the rafters and he doesn't have to measure, make sure that all the nails go into the rafter and we don't have any misses. Cutting in our ceiling joists now, and we have to do the same thing on the top of the edge of our ceiling joist. We have to do the back cut of a 4-pitch. So I'm just using my scraps to trace that. Boom, super easy. So the ceiling joist goes up and then it follows the roof line. Whoa! Who's the quarterback now?
Check it out.
What's going on, everybody? We'll probably get a lot of questions on what are you going to do with this area where the two roofs meet? Good thing you asked, because we're building a cricket. We have our new roof and an existing roof that are two gables, so it's two A's. Where they meet, that's a very vulnerable area for water. So what I ended up having to do is create two valleys and like a shed roof pretty much. So I took the height of the existing ridge, leveled that across, put in all my valley rafters, jack rafters, and then leveled it across when it met here, creating another valley. When it rains on this roof, all the water is going to channel to this spot. I think it left me with a 4-pitch, which is a good pitch to have in this little area. Very important step.
We're getting it done.
All right, we're ready to start installing the deck boards, and we have several different portions of this deck. Some of them are going to be going in different directions, so the layout is super important, especially right here where we're starting. Let me show you what we got. So the plan with this when we were framing was to use full 20-foot boards without a seam on this whole portion, but it was very, very close. So we're only going to have about a 1/2 inch to spare on each side when we do our track saw cut. So we had to be very mindful of that when we framed, that we were within those parameters. And now we have to be very conscious of how we lay this so that our boards go just beyond our cut mark on both sides, but we don't end up short. So let me show you what we did. We're gonna have a double border of 5.5. So I snapped this line about a 1/2 inch away from where we're gonna cut. So if we just line up our boards directly with this chalk line, we should be good, and our cut should be about a 1/2 inch in. Since we only have about 1 inch to spare overall, 1/2 inch on both sides, we have to be very conscious of that and take our time, make sure that we're laying these out nice and straight, but I think it should work out beautifully. A little bit extra time on framing and in the installation, but it's gonna be worth it. We'll save a lot of waste, and it's gonna look nice and clean. Boom! As we lay our first board, we also have a line snapped right across the front. That's measured back for our double border and our overhang. So we'll start by installing this with face screws. They'll all get plugged, and then we can use clips going off of that. Should be nice and simple, and as long as we get this first one nice and straight, the rest of them should go in pretty good. You lined up right on that line? Okay.
Taking so long.
I was switching out my bits. I had a T25, but then I realized these plug screws, they use a T20, so I had to swap it out. Sorry. Nice little trick is we have a 3/16 gap between our boards for the ends to make sure that those are staying consistent. You can just use the spacer on your speed square. Make sure you check. Some of them are actually 1/8, but if you get one that's 3/16, we like to use this. Put it right there, maintain our gap. Then we fasten the end, we know we're good to go. Moving right along. So now we're transitioning from this deck. We're gonna have a border breaking up that seam, and then we're gonna continue this way. The thing that we need to make sure of is that we're continuing straight across so all of our seams line up, and when you look down the deck, it looks nice and straight. So I'll show you how we do that. This one we know is nice and straight. So what I'm gonna do is butt this piece directly up to here, so we know that this end is lined up. I'll put a screw right here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a string line right in the middle of the board, and we're gonna bring it all the way down, and then we can measure that we're hitting the center of the board as we go. Should be perfectly lined up. We can go off of that. We'll check it a little bit as we go, make sure we're staying consistent, but that's how we like to do it. All right, Tom, you want to go down there? All right, you're gonna make a mark right in the middle of your board. 2 3/4. He's got his end marked. I've got this side marked. We'll make one more mark over here. Okay, don't put it down yet. Put your end down. Keep your end up. All right, we are pretty good there. How are you lining up? Does the board need to move?
Yeah.
Where's it gotta go? Oh, you're good? All right, put a finger down on your mark. Let me double check this one. You good there?
Yep.
All right, so he's got his mark. I'm hitting my mark. He's hitting his mark down there. So we know that all of the ends of the boards are good. I'm gonna screw this end down, then we'll check the middle. Okay, so now what we need to do is check. I'll go every couple of joists. Make sure that you're keeping that nice and tight. No, I'm saying it's good. Right in the middle there. Perfect. Love that. All right, so we had measured the middle of the board there. ran that string line. We're hitting center of the board all the way down, so we know that we're coming perfectly straight off of this board. And just to check, we'll do our little eye test. Then at the end of this, make sure it looks straight. Oh my God, it's perfect. Good job, Tom.
Should have done without you, Sean.
I know. All right, we got all of our field boards down here. Next step is to start cutting in our borders with the track saw, and we get a ton of questions on the track saw, so we got a fun little demonstration set up for you. Let's check it out. People are always asking, how do you cut through the deck board without cutting through the flashing tape that's underneath? Well, with this track saw, it's super, super accurate. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw down a 20 underneath here. We're gonna cut through the board and we won't cut through the 20. Let's hope. All right, Tony, you ready? Got a 20.
You can see the 20s underneath there.
Oh, and there it is. Oh, hold on. This isn't a 20. Huh. This is a fake 20 to promote our podcast, The Hardworking Happy Hour. You can check it out on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. Search Hardworking Happy Hour. We talk all kinds of business and cool stuff, so check that out. So Tony's getting ready to do a track saw cut here on the perimeter. We have our line snapped here where it's gonna get cut. You can see when we installed it, we just put a screw in the center here just as a placeholder to make sure the board doesn't move, but we knew it was gonna be within the cut. So once we snap this line, we put some hidden fasteners right behind it so the end of the board is secured. Now we can take these screws out, we'll cut this.
Locked in for justice.
Sean, why are you painting the deck black?
What? Trying to stay busy, trying to look busy. No, actually, what we're doing is we always stain all of our framing black, especially these nailers going down, because we're gonna have that horizontal trim with a 1/4 inch gap. You will see the yellow tone of the wood kind of poke through and it'll be really obvious. Nice little coat of some black stain, totally disappears. Should have this wrapped up pretty soon. It should dry. Then we'll start on our trim, and you'll really see the difference between non-stained and the black stain on here. We'll put a piece behind it and you'll see the difference. I love this color combo. Probably one of my favorites. The Tundra and the Costa. Costa's probably overall my favorite Deckorators color. One of the things I really like about it, we do a lot of times Costa and Kaya. Kaya is that dark brown. When you pair it with Kaya, it picks up a lot of the brown tones, but when you pair it with the Tundra, which is this light gray, it picks up a little bit of the gray tones in here. So it's very versatile. That's why we use it a lot, and it's gonna be sick. You think?
Yeah, I'm digging it.
He's digging it. You digging it?
I love it.
No, I was talking to the viewers.
Oh.
But since I got you on the horn here, are you digging it? You think it's cool?
I love it.
Sweet. All right. Now that we have these up here, you can see the importance of the black stain on the framing. And you might be thinking, hey Sean, those tiny gaps, you're not gonna see any of that. That was pointless. Well, let's check. Stained. Not stained. Worth it?
You be the judge.
You can like slow my voice down there? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. bit. Gotta get a new bit. Starting to get to one of my favorite parts, which is trimming out these stair risers. It's one of my favorite details, how we have these wrap around and just continue with that same gap. So we're mitering these corners. Show you a couple tips for that. What do you think? You want a couple tips?
Are you asking me this time or the audience?
You.
Oh, I don't need any tips. I'm an expert.
Oh, okay. The audience probably does, though.
Probably, yeah, probably.
So we'll show a couple tips here. We've got our front piece on here. Now we're gonna measure back, and you can see we have it nearly flush, just a tiny bit of an overhang. That gives us the ability to adjust this piece a tiny bit and make sure that our outside corner is really nice and tight. So I've got a hair over 42 3/4 on our top. From the bottom, it's 42 7/8. So I'm gonna cut it to 42 7/8. I'm gonna loosen up this screw, and that's gonna force it to the same measurement, and we should have a nice miter there. Oh yeah, this is gonna be nice. It's a little bit longer on the top than it is on the bottom. What I'm gonna do is just get a screw started, just to really hold it up. That closed it up nicely already. We've got this just about good. It's pretty close. I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. That really didn't need much adjustment at all. We're still a tiny bit over at the top, so let me just see if I sink this screw. We're still just the tiniest bit favoring this side being longer, because what I'm gonna do to really lock this in for justice is get one screw through this board into here, and if anything, that's gonna push this even closer, so should be perfect after this. Easy as that. Well, there you go. Just, you know, do that and then boom, you got this. That's it. We're making some pretty good progress on this bar. Let me show you what we got. You saw how we built out the boxes that are essentially like posts supporting our top. We set our framing of these flush with our riser so that this trim board could go down over top and overlap on top of our fascia of the deck. Really cool thing is how these boards that are on our deck surface just go and turn straight up the bar. They'll do the same thing on the bar top. We got a couple more pieces of trim to put on here. We'll get to that in a bit.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Is that what I said?
Where did I get 26?
I don't know.
21 pieces after.
21 more pieces need to go up, but Ant's gonna have those up in a jiff. You need my help?
Check it out.
course, we gotta do a waterfall detail on this because, hey, why not? I'm really digging the look of this waterfall going above our fascia detail. Typically, we cut it in, our corners are flush with it. I think this adds a nice little touch. Hey, can I see your square?
Yeah.
Oh, he's big. Do you need any help?
Huh?
Did you need any help?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
All right. I don't know, just kind of like didn't know what to do. It's kind of like they're working on that. I got no help for the furring strips. It's kind of a two-person thing. You know what I mean?
I'm a person.
You want to go belt on?
Yeah.
Furring strips?
You see it?
Okay. The A-team, back at it.
A team. I don't know about a team. It's a team.
Rude.
You know what a butt for is?
No. What? What's a butt for? Tom, you got a butt for?
What's a butt for?
Pooping. I gotta work on the delivery. That's pretty good though. Alright, let's get serious, alright? We're serious business people. Enough joking around, alright? Essentially what we have to do here is we have all of our ceiling joists running this way. That's the direction that we want our ceiling material to run. So we're gonna pack this down with furring strips and we're gonna run them this way over top 16 inches on center so that when we put on our finished UFP edge ceiling, it's running in the direction that we want. So we're gonna mark out our layout and we'll get them up here. Catherine, you ready?
I'm ready.
Belt on. And it's right here watching us. We gotta perform up to high standards. Ready for the ceiling. Catherine, great job.
Thank you, Sean. Great job.
Oh, me? Thanks. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Hey, you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Anybody else doing a good job here, Ant?
Huh?
Is anybody else doing a good job here?
We're just, yeah. You are. You guys
Oh,
did a
you
great
didn't have to say that.
I put a team on that.
The A-team, you got that right. Well, now you can see we've got these 1x4s up here, furring it out, changing the direction of our ceiling structure so that now we can run our UFP edge this way. That's what we want. We are gonna have two detail beams that cut through on top. So we're gonna have 3 seams in this. All the seams will be covered as we typically do, but we're ready to go now.
Catherine,
Hey, Aunt.
you want a tip for soffit? So when you're running your soffit, every 3 or 4 pieces, you want to check periodically for square. So what you do, put your speed square against your J channel and make sure it's lining up nice. If you don't do this every now and then, by the time you get to the end, you might be all out of square. Keep it square.
Thanks, Aunt.
You're welcome.
we're moving right along here. You guys got a lot done this morning. I was getting audited. I had to deal with an audit this morning. They really get all up in your biz, so make sure you got your business files in order because they're gonna wanna see everything. But all done with that, now we're back on site and we're working on this front wall, and this is gonna be such a cool feature. I'm freaking loving it already. Let's check it out. This took a lot of planning to execute our detail here. We're gonna have our Deckorators trim on the side of the fireplace going up. It's gonna end right here, so it's gonna create this column detail on the front. And then the reason for this is also to hide the edges of our stone. So you can see it sticks out past the Adorn stone. And now we're getting this up. This is the granite series in the birch color. I think this is gonna look awesome against the Costa and against the white PVC column. So we'll start getting this up and it's gonna really come together. Woo. We got our bar top pretty much wrapped up here. It looks freaking awesome. I'm pretty pumped about it. We've got the waterfall edge. One thing that we were a little bit unsure of was whether or not we have two different color boards or we just stick with all tundra. We decided to go with Costa in the middle because it follows our border detail, and you can see we have it on all of our uprights as well. Now with the top is longer than 20 feet, so we were gonna have seams one way or the other. We thought of every different way we could do it. We could stagger the seams and have 3 seams in different places, or I thought it would look better if we strategically place it right in the center and make sure that it's really nice and consistent. So that's what we did right in the middle. Let me show you. So this is what we decided to go with, a strategic seam right in the middle. We left about an 1/8 inch gap just for a little detail. I think it turned out really nice. I think it's much better than staggering those seams all over the top. So I think it's a nice little detail here. Let us know what you think. One more thing that we have to contend with here is the undercarriage of this bar. You know, we're gonna leave it like this, just all exposed, and you see all the framing?
We don't want that.
So what we decided, we're gonna have a ton of little scraps on this project, so we're gonna use tundra under here. Oh, there you go. Boom. Just like that. We'll do it nice and tight. We'll put these all across here. We'll gap them so that, again, water can pass through it. And I think it's gonna be something that'll completely disappear. We'll have a railing on this, which is gonna be the black Deckorators ALX. So this is just kind of a detail, but more of something that just disappears and you don't even realize it's there. That's what we're going for here. We're gonna be getting to this detail shortly. We'll just wait till somebody has some downtime when they're not working on something else, find some scraps, cut them all to size, install them, boom. I gotta cut a bunch of pieces at the same measurement. I'm doing the bottom of the bar, and we need about 50 pieces cut at 14 3/8. I'm cutting it all out of scrap, so I'm gonna show you a quick way to get them all cut and get it done. All right, I got a nice clean cut on this side, nice and square. So what I'm gonna do, take my piece, measure out 14 3/8. Right there is gonna be my cut, so I'm gonna hold this piece. I'm gonna butt this scrap right up to it. Boom, I'll have them all cut in no time. All right, we're getting ready to start on this outdoor kitchen. This is gonna be one of the coolest features that we have, a combination of Adorn stone and Deckorators. And I forgot my sunglasses, so I'm wearing Catherine's. They look like Bruno Mars sunglasses.
24 karat magic in the air.
Let me show you what we got. So we have the Adorn stone going all on the back of this kitchen island. Now we're transitioning towards the front. And because the front is gonna have a bunch of appliances, it's gonna have the grill, a fridge, trash drawer, and access doors. So it's a lot easier to have that land on top of the Deckorators boards, gives us a nice smooth surface. So we decided to transition this. We're gonna go and kind of step these, notch out our stone. The Deckorator is gonna slide behind it. It's gonna look like it's coming out of the stone. I think it's gonna be pretty excellent. The Adorn stone is 6 inches tall. Deck board's 5.5, so it's gonna leave us with a 1/2 inch gap between our deck boards. And we'll see how it goes. We were initially going to do a 5.5 board with a 1/2 inch gap in between to line up with the 6 inch stone rise, but that was a little bit too big of a gap, so we switched to the 7.25, ripped that down to 5.75 so we can maintain that 1/4 inch gap that we have on all of our trim details. With it notched into the stone, it looks like it's just kind of growing out of it. It's going to wrap right around the corner. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to step it back. It's going to die into the stone again. I think it's gonna be a really sick detail. You can see we got a good amount of this PVC trim up on our beams. Ant did a great job with that. Let's see what he's up to now.
What's up, Sean?
Hi, Anthony.
How are you?
I'm good.
So I'm gonna be making miter folds. You know about miter folds?
I might or might not. I thought we were just gonna caulk that.
You could. But we're gonna make a miter fold. We're gonna take 1x material. We're gonna rip miters on them, 45s, and then they'll get glued and go on the corners like that.
So that's gonna finish off our columns really nicely. And he's got it all set up here. Let's see what he's got.
I got a jig, I got a table saw, I got an outfeed table.
And how many of these do we need?
A lot. All right, so miter fold 101. Once you have all your pieces ripped, get them set up, finish side up, and you want your two edges to be just touching. Start on one end, and this is the secret. Masking tape. You can slightly pinch them together as you go. So once you have them taped, you should be able to just pick them up, flip them over, and then you grab the second ingredient, Christie's Red Hot Vinyl Adhesive. This product basically melts the material together. Once you have your glue in there, you should be able to fold it. I like to give it a little action. Take your tape again. Set that, fold it tight, tape. Only takes about 15 to 20 minutes before it sets up, and repeat the process.
All right, we're working on the opposite corner here. I've just kind of roughly marked this out, how I want these to step back and come back around the top so that our boards can die into them on this side. I'm pretty pumped about it. So here are our corners. Looking really nice. Check out that outside finish. We have them cut to rough size already, so we're gonna get them installed on our corners, and then tops and bottoms will be covered by trim. So I know what's on your mind. That's just glued, and we're gonna put a couple trim nails in it. That's not gonna hold, it's gonna blow up. Let's see how durable this seam is. Come on everybody, let's go. Here's a scrap. Just glue, no nails, nothing. Let's see if we can rip it apart. I mean, I'm pretty strong. Yeah. All right, let's try a hammer. Okay. Oh, it's almost there. All right, there we go. It's basically apart. Hopefully natural forces won't be as tough as that experiment, because I think it held up pretty good. All right, so we'll show you some of the trim details that we're gonna be doing here. So we have a couple corners on here. We're gonna do a 1x8 as our base trim. On the top, we're gonna be doing a more build out column detail. We're gonna have trim board that's flush with our corners. Then we're gonna have a 1/2 inch piece of crown essentially. That's gonna be about a 1x6. And then there will be a flat piece on top, a little capital on it. I think it's gonna finish it off really nicely. So I'm gonna go in, put in the flush pieces. Ant is gonna work behind me once he gets all the corners up to get those crown pieces on, and we'll see how it looks. Oh no. Oh, we almost cut through a slug. All right, little buddy. We'll put you into a nice spot. Can we put him back in nature?
Yeah.
That's a nice tight miter. I mean, it's a nice tight piece of trim. Love that. This is how you want it. We're just keeping it nice and tight. We want it, oh yeah, like that. You want to really make sure that you have to beat it in there as super tight. So that's a nice fitting piece, love it. Sheesh! Oh, that's sharp. Oh, that's sharp. I do like that. I like it very much. Woo! I'm gonna check this with a level now. So, are we sure that this is perfectly good? You put those up, so. Okay, all right. Now that we have these up, our top crown is gonna go over top of this piece, and what we're gonna do is match our reveal here, which is 2 3/4. We'll have that same reveal across this. So our crown's gonna go over top, and then we'll have that capital above it all, capping it all off. Do you still need my help over here?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll get back to it.
No, don't stop. You have 2 more.
I gotta go around the outside?
Yes.
I was just gonna put that off till, I don't know, somebody else.
Somebody else can do it.
All right. Up on the ladder I go. You could probably reach it from the ground.
I don't give a shit. You're finishing the column.
Yeah, if there's a stand there, can you add a blade to this?
Add it.
Yeah. You got a trick for that? All right, can you cut me a new piece that's just slightly longer?
Climb back down and get it.
Time for me to really lock in mentally for justice. Today should have been a van day. All right, so we got a lot of these details starting to get wrapped up. Now we have a whole lot of holes to plug, and that's a pretty tedious job. So I actually went on Craigslist, found somebody that we could sub it out to. We'll see how they're doing. Apparently they only work as a team. You're a plug expert, right?
Yeah.
There's all these holes here. What do we do with those?
First step, push them in there.
Do you guys always work as a team like this?
Yeah. Well, you push them in first.
Okay.
Hammer them. Then you're done.
How long have you boys been in the industry?
One day.
And I noticed today you didn't take a lunch break. Do you typically work straight through the day?
Yes.
Good job, guys.
I see that these are just hammered in and they're not glued or anything. Are they gonna come out?
No.
Why?
Locked in for justice. Locked in for justice.
What's up, Catherine?
Not much. What are you doing?
So we're gonna be making all our crown molding details for all these columns. And what I personally like to do, I like to pre-build it as 3 pieces and then 1 piece loose. So it just makes it for an easier install and also less nail holes. Tape it, flip it over. Use our trusty glue. Put this piece in dry so you can let it hold its shape. Put that off to the side. The secondary piece is the piece that goes on top, gives it like a nice little detail. As you can see, this is built 3-sided. Glued, really hardly any nails, visible nail holes. So it makes it pretty easy to install. Flip it around, push it up tight to that part of the beam. I can put 1 nail in it, check square, another nail, another nail, and it's pretty much installed. Now I just do the back side with my loose pieces and I'll glue now those miters up, finish it off. But at the end of the day, for me personally, to maybe only have 4 visible nail holes we have to fill is a lot better than 20 to 25.
Alright, so we got all of our other sections up, and this is the last one that needs to go in. So we have our post here. See, it's just lagged down to the deck. It has these little set screws on the bottom so that we can adjust it, make sure it's nice and plumb when we get it set, and we have it set. Now, we're just ready to put the panel in. All of these ALX contemporary railings come pre-welded, so this is out of a 6-foot section. And you can see it's all pre-assembled, pre-welded, super strong. Now, we gotta cut the length?
Cut the length minus -1 inch to account for the 1/2-inch brackets. Throw the brackets on.
All right, is it gonna fit?
Should fit.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Woo! Nice fit, nice and snug. Our installation is a little bit easier here because we're having a cocktail rail on top. So we just cut these posts down to 36 inches and now we can just set our top bracket flush with the top of that post and let the bottom go where it go. Oh, you smell good. All right, so we'll get this bottom set, we'll get another screw in this top, and then we'll show you a couple tricks with this cocktail rail, how it fits really nice and tight, and you don't see that little bit of light shining through, because we don't want that.
Okay, help you?
Hi, what do we got going on here?
All the siding. Take a walk with me. As you can see, we had to remove some of this siding in this general area of that gable.
All right, and we get a ton of questions about little thing like this, just putting the siding back up, because you know you're not starting from the bottom and working your way up like you typically would. So how do you go about patching this in? Show us a couple tips.
And with siding, yes, you do start from the bottom, work your way up. In this case, we have to feather into it. So it's just unlocking panels, recutting them back in and locking them back together. As somebody would say around here, you would
Lock it in for justice.
So since you're working here,
Yeah, that works.
whether people do this.
And now for the weather.
Since you're working from this area, it's a lot easier because I have this piece on. But what I like to do is when I have to work in the middle of it,
I can see how hard you're concentrating. Good point. You're doing a really good job.
what I like to do is I like to find my old nail holes from the original install of the siding, because if your nailing flanges are lining up with your existing nail holes, that means you're on the right elevation for your siding. So when you get to rows where you're like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna line up, they'll line up. And then also, what you wanna do is, you wanna make sure you look at the overlap of the siding. In this case, when they sided this house, they started on the right and went to the left. So the left side is on top of the right side. When I install this piece of siding, I have to make sure I unhook this so I can get this piece underneath of it. Make sure it slides back and forth. Give the old siding slap. And now this piece is on top of that piece, and you just nail it off.
All right, we're working on our outdoor kitchen here, and you saw in the last video that little detail we did of them kind of stepping back and the deck boards dying into it. We're actually gonna make a change on that. It was a little too modern for the homeowner, which I totally get. It was a bold choice. So what we decided to do, because we still want to have all of our appliances die on top of these deck boards, we decided to just wrap our corner units, then we notched out the back so it still accepts our deck boards, and we're just going to do a 9-inch corner unit on both sides, so it looks like the stone is essentially like hugging the outside perimeter of this bar. I think it's still going to look awesome. We're just going to leave this little detail in our arsenal, and we're going to do it on another project. All right, so we've got our last cocktail rail piece cut here, and you can see if I pull this down, even if I screw it down really nice and tight, you're still gonna get that little bit of daylight coming through. We don't want that. We'll show you our little trick for dealing with that. Even though these brackets are so low profile, this still sticks up above our top rail, so no matter what, no matter how tight you get it, you'll still see some daylight through this side. So what we're gonna do, we've done it on this one here, is actually route out the bottom where it hits our bracket, and that's gonna allow it to sit down flush with this, and it's gonna be nice and tight, and we won't have any daylight. So we've got this marked out. That's our post, and here's our little bracket. So what we're gonna do, a little router action. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's the fit right there. So you can see now they're sitting nice and flush with each other. And what do we have? We've got no daylight through there, none. Oh, that's beautiful. And you can see it's just because we've routed this out the tiniest bit, tiny little details like that. Once this is screwed down, we'll get no daylight. All we do to fasten these is just throw a screw from underneath into our deck board. What do we got, 2 inchers in there?
Yeah,
Is that typically what we've been using?
Yep.
2 inches, like just right, and you got to be careful not to come through. I think we've used 1 7/8 in the past if you can find them, but nice and clean, super easy. If it's in a visible spot, you can hit that with a tiny little bit of paint and it totally disappears. Hey Tom, this outside corner is a little wobbly. What do we do? Do we have a plan for that?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
send a screw into the side to bring them together nice and tight.
We're gonna make sure it's locked in for justice. You can see we throw that screw tying the 2 boards together, and then we can also plug it. Works great. Tom, you got any energy drinks?
Oh yeah.
Tom's my official energy drink supplier. He's always got this thing stocked for when I need a little extra juice. No time to play around. Let's get this energy drink. Let's go. All right.
Wait,
What time is it?
shade sale time. Say that.
Shade sale time. Come shade sail away. All right, so we got all of our setup here. We got our stainless eye hooks. They're gonna go into our trim up here. Here you go. I didn't know if you knew that little trick.
I just figured it out. I was just thinking outside the box.
This trim really looks nice, man. You really did a great job with that. Way to go.
Thanks, boss.
You got it. Last piece of Adorn stone going up on our kitchen. It's looking good. So then we can start cutting in our pieces, fit back in there. It's a nice little trick for when you're going to the top of your wall. You can just bend this flange over it, and our countertop will sit right on top of there, hide it, and it's locked in for justice.
You grab that drill.
Good thing I'm here.
Thank you.
Make sure that they're sitting nice and horizontal.
That's sitting horizontal. Put this on there. It's just a joke.
Oh, it is?
Let's see if he falls for it.
Ah. There we go. Nice. Woo! Tom, me and Aunt got 3 of them up already.
Yeah.
You're really having some trouble with that, huh? Oh, that's beautiful. All right, so now we just start tightening, or yeah, I think we'll just be able to probably tighten them all the way up, and we might be good.
It's getting there.
Looks tight.
Yeah.
Typical.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nice and tight. Oh, you got it.
Jeez.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Much better.
Yep. All right, one of our next things here. Hanging chairs. Going up on this beam. We did our total run. We subtracted the width of each chair. That gave us our 3 gaps. And then to figure out where our center is, we have half the chair, which is 34, so half of that's 17, plus our 22.5. That's what gave us that 39.5. And if we were to do a plumb line up from the edge here, we'd be in another 39.5. So we're good. All right, let's get them. That's a good, that's called a body ratchet.
You guys are rude.
Oh, it's so nice. Good distance apart.
Uh-huh. You put a table in between it.
Can you hold hands?
I don't know.
You want to try? Right off of the deck is gonna be our paver area, so we're excavating this right now. We're actually gonna have a slight pitch towards the steps. Kind of uncommon, but we're following the grade of the yard. We're also gonna have a permeable joint fill, so I think it's gonna work out really well. We won't have much water building up against the steps. It'll drain here and it'll follow the grade of the yard, so it's gonna be very minimal water runoff anyway. That way, we're not gonna have anything too crazy and weird here. So we're almost there. We can compact this. We can start getting our 3/4 stone in, and we got a really, really sick design coming at you for this paver patio. Well, probably no better time than actually just right now to tell you what we're actually doing here. So the client previously in the process sent us this inspirational picture that they took in Italy and said, hey, we love this paver design. What do you think? Can we do something like this? And I said, yeah, of course we can. Didn't know at the moment if, you know, we could really make it work, but I made a promise and we kept to it. So we have Techo-Bloc Valet going in here in shale gray and in onyx black. Here is my sketch that I did. It's gonna work out perfectly. It's gonna look almost exactly like that inspiration picture, so I'm pretty psyched about it, and hopefully we don't hit any snags on it. I think I have it figured out pretty well, but you know, we'll see. All right, we got our patio area excavated. Now let's take a look at the soil and see if we need to do any soil amendments. Here's a good way to check if you have clay soils. Really simple thing that you can do is just grab a nice little hunk of it here. We're gonna do the worm test. It's just roll it between your hands. If this is like a high clay content soil, you're gonna be able to make a nice long worm piece. This is right on the cusp. It's crumbling pretty easy. And what we're gonna do for that is amend the soil with some lime. So that's gonna change the pH of the soil. It's gonna help it drain a little bit better. Little tip for you there, always check your subsoil and see what you're working with, and then you can make the proper amendments so it's gonna be locked in
for justice.
It is Techo-Bloc Friday.
Okay, sweet. First thing that you want to do, once you get your base down, have the new guy buzz around with the stick and the beepy thing.
Sounds like deja vu.
So we have most of our base installed here. We've got the 3/4 stone. We compacted it at the end of the day yesterday. It looks like we're a tiny bit low there. A couple low spots, we'll fill those in. Then we can start screeding. Then we get to the pavers. Pavers on this one are gonna be nuts. Are you that much taller than me? Oh my God. Jose's already on the machine. He's ready to roll. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. What? I'm trying to get everybody excited for paver day. So we have it all drawn out to scale. I also figured out how many of the onyx black we have to cut in half, and we need 144 of them cut in half, and those should be pretty much the only cuts that we need besides where we get around the stairs over here.
Said it's scale?
Scale, yeah.
Paver seems a little bigger.
Yeah.
And what is that color?
That's shale gray. When these are wet and those are dry, they look the same.
So this
but
is shale gray.
here's the difference. We have our first line set here. Tom, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, we got our string line square off of the foundation. We have laid out our pattern, and our pattern is 8 by 8 on the valets. So where I've extended it out, that's gonna be the start of each square. We wanted to get over to this point so that we can now work from here and not have to walk over the screed bed. So we're gonna start by running a square line off of this. Make sure that we're starting out square off of our line here. And hopefully this first one goes in no problem. Then it should go really quick, but I wanna get one down before we make all of our cuts, before we, you know, really get into this. We'll get one set, so wish us luck. All right, so slight miscalculation here. With these on a diagonal, we're actually like an inch short on both sides, so we're gonna have to shrink our overall square. Take an inch out of this piece, inch out of this piece. It's gonna get it closer, and I think it should work out beautifully, but That's just what happens when you come up with a crazy design. Sometimes things go a little askew, so I think we got it figured out. We'll see pretty soon, and hopefully it starts coming together. Hey!
Are you doing some Inception? Because I'm editing.
Oh, you're editing this video that's about to go out? Oh my god. By the way, we haven't done an update on the mobile command center in a while. Working out pretty great, right?
Pretty great. It's a little messy right now, though. We need to...
We got snacks. Red Bull? Where's that from?
You gave this to me yesterday, and I forgot to drink it.
Where's mine?
I think you drank it yesterday.
All right, we got it figured out. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. I'm so excited. Oh, it's coming together, baby. It's coming together. A lot of cuts, though. Doesn't seem like a lot. It's only like 250 cuts. It's a lot. We got Ant over there on the saw. He's taking care of it. We are making great progress here on this paver patio. This looks freaking awesome. It looks exactly like our inspiration photo that we got from the client, and we did it all with the Techo-Bloc Valet. We've got it in shell gray and onyx black. Looks awesome. We've got Ant moving on to new exciting things inside our addition.
Best product out there.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What do you got?
I got UFP Edge, thermally modified, 1x6 tongue and groove ceiling material. Could be any material.
Could be, yeah. Well, we're gonna do ceiling and wall.
And ceiling and wall.
Ceiling and wall.
Ceiling and wall.
So it's got a beautiful texture on it.
What is this, Glacier White?
This is Glacier, thermally modified. It's pre-finished and it's tongue and groove. So we're gonna have very, very few fasteners on it, and it'll be good to go. So show us, what do we got?
First thing you wanna do is you want to measure material. So tongue to end is 5 1/4. I have a long run here, about 20 feet. I can't tell you how straight this wall is. So what I like to do is I'll measure off my wall 5 1/2 inches. That'll give me a 1/4 inch of play off the wall, and our wall material will hide that. But that ensures you will have a straight run continuing your whole ceiling. So once you have your line snapped, you gotta do your tongue with it.
Whoa.
Trying to work here.
I know, I'm trying to get in there for the shot.
And now I know moving forward, these will stay straight and they'll line up with our other rows of ceiling.
So we already have this side all done, and that's what he's referencing, that chalk line. He's gonna line that side up with it as well, and then do the middle section. And we're doing it in 3 sections because we're gonna have some beams that go off of our fireplace wall back like this, and that'll cover all of our seams, and it's gonna be a really nice little ceiling detail.
It'll really make it pop.
And now we are doing our little sort of retaining wall. We're just leveling out this garden bed all the way around the deck. So we're using the Techo-Bloc Roca wall here, just getting them down there, and then we'll fine tune them. We've got some that are sticking up a tiny bit, so we'll hit those down. But overall, it's looking good. We're gonna have it wrap all the way around here, around there. It's gonna be nice. Are those too heavy for you?
How dare you insinuate that?
we got our Techo-Bloc Roca wall just about wrapped up. A few more pieces to go in around the patio, but because we have this challenging grade, we had to do some levels. We had to step this up 3 times from that side of the deck over to the patio, and we wanted to do that in a strategic way. So by doing these tiered planters, we get that change in elevation, and it also adds a really cool design detail, so I'm digging it. Let's check in on what Tony's doing. It looks so freaking good. I'm so excited. We've got the UFP Edge in Glacier White. It looks really sweet. It matches a lot of the white tones that we have here, but because it has that whitewash look, gives it a little bit of distinction. And then we've got the sides of our fireplace going right down the ceiling. That's where the fans are gonna be mounted. I think it's all coming together. I'm super psyched. He's putting the last couple pieces of PVC trim up on our beams. I'm psyched. Woo! Starting to come together already. We got the UFP Edge Glacier, same as the ceiling on the back of our shelves here. And we got our first live edge slab. The bottom one is a little bit deeper, so we cut these ears on it, and it sits in here really nice. The rest of them will be recessed into here, and we're gonna have trim that comes down on the side. Stone will die into that. It looks so good already.
It's gonna be a pretty wild look.
Yeah. You'll see how we're gonna do our shelves. We're gonna put our UFP Edge vertical here, and then that'll create the ledge for our next shelf to sit on. Then we'll go on top of it and be nice and easy.
One step though.
Yeah, what's up?
You gotta sand it.
This?
Yeah.
All right, I can handle that.
You
want me to do it?
Yeah, you look like the man of the job for that.
Looks like a perfect task for
the boss.
All right, so you can see there's some planer marks on here. That's what I'm trying to get out. I'll hit this and should be good to go. What?
You don't stop.
Oh, come on, dude.
Until they're gone. You can never sand enough.
All right. Safety glasses, always. Sheesh. That looks so cool. Locked in for justice?
Maybe. Might be.
What's up?
I just want a donut.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the donuts and coffee today, Catherine.
What a team player.
We also just added one more row to this pattern. Homeowner wanted to know if we could extend it a little bit more, get a little bit more space out of it, and luckily we had enough pavers, so figured, hey, why not? And it's gonna be really nice. They're gonna have fire pit right here, kind of in the center, and then 4 chairs around it. So now we have plenty of space, plenty of room for the gate to open, and tell you what, it's coming together.
Check it out.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry, I can't talk. Gotta order plants. It's on my list. I gotta order lights. In case you were wondering what these things mean. ITNW in the next week. And also, no negative vibes ever. We're big on acronyms around here. All right, more Red Bull needed. Got mine right here.
Let's go.
What is that? Oh, it's a turkey. All right, last one. All right, look at this. We've got all of our live edge shelves in here. It looks so good with this Glacier UFP Edge. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna have the stone die into it on this side. So some of this is gonna be exposed. So we're gonna cut another piece of the UFP Edge on the outside here, and then we're gonna do a 1x2 on the front. And we'll be getting to that first thing in the morning, and then we'll start on Adorn stone all over this thing. But everybody else left. So, what are you doing?
Anthony put a fart bomb in our van, so I'm putting googly eyes on all of his tools. I think that's, if a hammer had eyes.
Really funny.
Do you think that's where it would be?
It kind of reminds me of the Philly Fanatic a little bit.
It does a little bit.
Well, it's level, but it still looks a little funny.
They're not sticking good. If he were here, he'd say something like, "That's because you can't stick to titanium," or something like that.
Have you ever even pranked anybody before? He's gonna think this is hilarious. Hello. Oh, let's put them all on this. His Martinez square, I'll love that. All right, Tony, what's the deal today? What's gonna be our measurement? The post to the bookcase.
9 3/4.
Is that a new tape measure? Got him! We got you good.
That'll be good.
Did you check see if the side of that's plumb? Or level? Got him!
Got me. My toolbox.
Got you good. You got punked. We're moving right along here. This thing is looking freaking so good. I'm so excited. We got these live edge slabs. They just look so freaking good. This is how we like to mount our TVs. Because we're doing stone that's gonna come out like 2.5 inches, we want a mounting spot that's gonna protrude further than that. So we just double up 2x12 here. We'll get this painted white since everything is gonna be this white stone, and that'll just disappear behind the TV. We've got a 65-inch TV going here, so you won't see that at all, and gives it a nice secure mounting location. And now, starting on our Adorn stone. What are you, cut man?
Cut man.
Cut man. Jose's installing.
Yep.
Tom's cutting. Keep them moving. So we'll cut like 2 inches off the back of this. I think that's gonna be nice. And we'll show you how we install the mantle, but we're making great progress on the Adorn stone. And again, we've showed you this before, but this flange makes it super easy. Nice looking notches around the bottom of our shelf here. And this is really coming together. Love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's it, send it.
Good sanding.
Oh, again.
Oh, again?
Sanding guy is here. Shirt should say sanded in for justice.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
That is a nice piece of wood. Back to sanding.
Yeah, you're gonna start on your left.
Okay.
But hold on 1 second.
We got the mantle all sanded up, and typically we would go about mounting this a little bit differently, but Tom said he could fit in there.
I got it. Start your free throw.
Oh! So he's inside of here.
How is it that one? Pretty good.
It's close, yeah.
Yes, on this side.
Love this live edge slab.
Really brings pride to the body.
You know what I love about it? It tells a story.
What kind of story, Pop?
Like, look, you know, we got these little termite holes. There was a little family in there.
There was.
Till the tree got cut
All
down.
the havoc.
Yeah. Send it. Think it helped?
Yeah.
It's locked in for justice. On one of our previous projects, we did a mantle kind of similar to this, and we screwed it into the wall, obviously, because that's what you do with a mantle. And I couldn't believe how many comments we got on that from people saying, well, what if you want to take it down?
Seasonal. Who has seasonal mantles?
Yeah, nobody does that. Like, I was blown away by that. Every time we post something about that, people are like, oh, well, what if you want to take it off eventually? It's like, well, what happens if you want a different color roof? You take off the old roof and you put a new one on. So, I don't want to hear any of that on this one because it looks freaking sweet. And why would anyone want to change it when it looks that cool?
I don't know.
You got anything insightful for us?
No.
Okay. Lots of plants.
Lots of plants.
We're getting to some of the final touches here. We're installing all of the plants. I'm really excited about it. We've got some cool stuff that's gonna just tie everything together. I think it's gonna be awesome, but we got this whole wall. Woo! All wrapped up. Look how good that looks. What we're gonna do is just paint this white. This is gonna be completely hidden behind the TV, so you won't see that at all. Look at these live edge slabs. Woo! Mantle looks awesome. All the materials just working together beautifully. Got the Deckorators Costa on the side of the fireplace and on our roof beam. Then we've got the UFP Edge Glacier and the Adorn stone granite and birch.
Where do these boxwood red maples go?
Those are Ilex crenatus, compacta holly.
I thought they were juniper.
It's actually a holly, believe it or not, but no thorns. Did you know that you could have a holly with no thorns?
Oh, you're just being a thorn in my right now.
Hey, you got any good tips for us when it comes to planting plants?
You can't plant a plant without a little ant.
These are some Carl Forstner grasses. Really nice ornamental grass. They're getting really close to the end of the season, so they're starting to die off, but they're not gonna get too crazy big. They'll get at most maybe 4 feet, and they don't get out of control, so really like it. Nice wispy look. Got some more plants over here, the compacta hollies. Like them, they'll grow into a nice little hedge. We've got some more of the Carl Forstners here. Then we've got some little lime hydrangeas. These are gonna get maybe max 3, maybe 4 feet tall, possibly, but not gonna get out of control like the regular limelights. And just a nice, beautiful pop of color. I love these. Then we've got here Pennisetum grass, little bunnies. These are just gonna stay nice and compact, maybe get about 2 feet tall, and this will look really cool with some uplighting on it. So we're gonna get those in there. And then the big guys, we've got green emeralds, arborvitaes. We've got 11 of these going in. This is going to provide us a little bit of instant privacy here, so we went with them that are a little bit bigger. We've got like a 5 to 6 foot tall version, and going to go across the front of the driveway, across the side of the patio. This patio is right by the driveway, so it's exposed to the street, it's exposed to the neighbor, so anything that we could do to get a little bit of privacy, even if it's more of a perceived privacy, it goes a long way, and it makes the space feel a little bit more intimate and not like you're sitting out in the street and sitting in the neighbor's lawn. So gotta love that. It's gonna look awesome, and it's coming together. I'm pumped. We're doing plants.
Plants? I love plants.
I know, right?
Can I come plant them?
Yeah, sure. Are you done your work?
No.
Okay, well, back to work. All right, we got all of our plants in here, and now we're starting on our lighting. The most important thing with lighting is you just want to take your time on the layout, get those all nice drilled out, and make sure they're all in a nice, what? Tom done messed up.
I messed up a little.
What are we gonna do though?
Put a new riser board in there.
Put a new riser. We'll get it fixed. But hey, just goes to show you, this is like such a silly little mistake, but you know, it happens sometimes. So we're gonna get it fixed.
We'll get it fixed.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Jose, you wouldn't have made that mistake, would you? Check these out. Really nice job on the planting here. Nice and straight. Yeah, how do we look? Plum?
Can't get any better than that.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're getting all of our lights set up now. And we got a ton of lights going in here so far. Just on these spotlights, we have 36 of them going in, and I'll put a link in the description to where we get these on Amazon. These are a really great option for budget-friendly lighting. When there's not a ton of money for lighting in the budget, I like to go with a more budget-friendly fixture like this one so that we can still do a ton of lights. I think using more lights is more important than how the fixture actually looks. So these aren't the nicest looking fixtures, but when it's all lit up at night and we have 36 uplights on this, it's gonna look sick. Starting to look like something.
Starting to look like something. It's really coming together.
It's really coming together.
It's a nice project.
Yeah, so pretty.